All right, everyone, I am blessed with the presence of Ilkay Gundoğan.
Right.
Arguably one of the best midfielders in the world right now, and for the past, I would say, 8 years.
Maybe.
You're a little bit too humble.
Maybe.
It's great to have you here, and our audience is dying to know, what are the secrets? I mean, that's obviously a very broad question, but first of all, how do you become as good as you are?
You start young, I feel like, first of all. I started playing football in a team also when I was 3.5 years old. That's when they used to call it Pampersliga in Germany.
Pampersliga, like that.
They used to call it, yeah. Obviously, I mean, I was born in Gelsenkirchen, I grew up in Gelsenkirchen, and it's, let me say it this way, it's not the safest city maybe on earth. But my parents, they always wanted me to kind of make friends quickly, you know, and like as a child also spend a lot of time with other kids, you know, in my age, and in the rural area, which is called the whole area, football is big. Like people live and die for football. And obviously, the first idea was to just sign me up, you know, at the local football club, and they did the same with my older brother. And then afterwards me, and that's basically how I started, you know, from the age of 3. And then, at one point I feel like when you get older, first of all, it doesn't make fun. As a child, you know, that's something you find out very quickly, and for me it was everything. But then obviously at one point also you kind of need to see if there's talent, you know.
Yeah, and when did you realize that you had, you know, talent, or realize that you had something special, something extra?
I would say quite late actually, because that's not really something I was thinking or worried about as a child. I mean, I always kind of felt that I am good and maybe also better than most kids that I was playing with. But because I was playing on a very low level until the age of 14, 15, I didn't really have much comparison, you know. So I would even say until that age, 14, 15, I was just, you know, like seeing the fun out of it. I was just enjoying, you know. I was not really thinking about, okay, when I'm 17, 18, 19, I want to become a professional, you know. I want to train with the pros, and I want to try to make it a living. It really started to hit, I think, when I first joined the academy of a professional team of Bochum in Germany in the age of 16. But even then I felt like, wow, everyone is so good, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can keep up with these guys, you know. And I was a bit shy, and I was, you know, self-doubting maybe a little bit, which is probably normal if you didn't, you know, like grew up playing in an academy and stuff. In Germany, I don't know how it is in other countries, you can maybe tell me, but in Germany, like it's like when you play in the academy until a certain point, until you get kind of your first professional contract, you always get like 1 year contracts, you know? Like, so you sign for 1 year, you don't really get, back in that time you didn't get much money, but you had always a contract for 1 year, and you kind of had to prove yourself every single year.
Because otherwise you wouldn't get an extension, right?
Exactly. At the end of the year they would say like, okay, you go into the next stage, the next age group, or you're not. And that was kind of good in one way, because you didn't have much time. You always had to kind of prove yourself, and you always had to, you know, fight and compete. And in that stage of my young career, it was good for me. But I realized that in my career, in my life, you know, my strength is also to reflect. And you know, especially in not so good moments maybe, when things are not going the way that you want them to go, it helped me a lot. And to be fair, even in good moments, you know, it always brought me that desire, you know, to improve still, you know, and to get better, and to try to do the things on the highest standard and highest level. And I just don't know, but in my career, the way I was, the way I am, brought me to the point that I am right now, you know, and I feel like I'm really lucky, you know, to have had such an amazing career, and hopefully maybe a few more years.
there's a lot of, you know, football players out there that might be in a similar situation that you were in at age 13, 14, you know, doubting yourself or thinking that you might not be good enough for an academy. What type of advice do you have for those type of players?
No, first of all, I was the same. I was the same, you know, like, I didn't even play on such a high level, you know, again, until the age of 15, 16. So doubting yourself is normal, you know, and asking yourself if you're good enough is quite normal, you know. It's part of the whole process, I feel like. There are so many keys that you have to pay attention to, because you're playing in the center of the field, you know.
Exactly.
So you don't just have people in front of you. You have people like 360 degrees around you, you know. And for me as a midfielder, it was always very important to actually scan everything that's happening around myself, not just on the ball, you know, even off the ball when you're not even close to the ball, but to see what's happening. Where are your teammates? Where are your opponents? You know, which position? Where's the space? Where could you kind of pass the ball to a teammate that you can make life easier for him on the football field? You know, so a lot of things in my play, in my game, are actually about awareness, and I feel like that's something you can train. I feel like that's something that's not just the talent, you know. It's about getting the habits, you know, in training sessions, obviously by simulating, you know, what could happen on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's what we are still doing right now, you know. So you need to know already before you get the ball, or before your teammate even considers to pass the ball to you, you have to have solutions in your head, you know. You
think of an outcome.
You have to think of an outcome. That's actually a good word. And you need to find opportunities, you know, to continue to play.
So do you have any final words for our audience? Any advice or any tips and tricks that you have for all the viewers out there?
Football is like life a little bit, you know, like it's up and down. So I feel like to enjoy the ups, you have to go through the downs, otherwise you will not know what they are worth, you know. So take the downs as they come, try to do your best, because I feel like if you are honest with yourself and if you are honest with the people around you, sooner or later you will get rewarded. In which way it will be, you never know, but you will get rewarded and you will get there where you want to be, you know, where you will be happy. So don't give up.
And with that said, we're gonna wrap it up. Dankeschön. Okay, and hopefully I will see you again soon in another video. But for now, leave a like and a comment down below, and remember to subscribe to Unisport. See you guys in the next one.